Good morning, dear students. Today we will study the factors affecting transpiration. In the previous two videos, you have already studied about transpiration, their types, and some experiments based on them. Now we will study the factors and the significance of this transpiration. So let's start with the factors which are external and affect transpiration. So first one is intensity of sunlight. More sunlight falls on a plant, it increases the rate of transpiration. More is the temperature, more is the kinetic energy of gas molecules. And since water is lost as vapor, it increases the kinetic energy of water vapor, thereby increasing the transpiration rate. More is the velocity of wind blowing on the surface of a leaf, faster is the water vapor accumulated, carried away. As the water vapor from the leaf surface is carried away, it increases the rate of transpiration. So more water is lost. Thereby, first three factors are directly proportional to the rate of transpiration. If they increase, the rate of transpiration increases. The next three are inversely proportional to the rate of transpiration. More is the humidity of the atmosphere. That means the water vapor is already high in the atmospheric air. The rate of transpiration reduces. If dioxide content of the air increases, it causes closure of stomata, thereby reducing transpiration. If the atmospheric pressure becomes high, the rate of transpiration reduces. And if atmospheric pressure becomes less, the rate of transpiration increases. So these three, the last three, humidity, carbon dioxide, and atmospheric pressure, are inversely proportional. If they increase, the rate of transpiration decreases. Now, there are certain internal factors. The primary one amongst them is water content of leaves. If a plant is having enough water, only then it will be able to perform transpiration. But if it is already having lesser amount of water, then the leaves will wilt and the transpiration rate is reduced. The transpiration is also affected by size of the leaf. More transpiration occurs from a larger sized leaf than from a smaller sized leaf. Then there are certain plants which have sunken stomata. When they have sunken stomata, this reduces the amount of transpiration. So this feature, the sunken stomata, is developed in some plants to reduce the rate of transpiration. So if we were to compile all the factors of transpiration, high rate of atmospheric temperature, high light intensity, and high wind velocity all increase the rate of transpiration, whereas high humidity, high carbon dioxide, and high atmospheric pressure reduce the rate of transpiration. And if the water content of a plant is less, this also reduces the rate of transpiration. So all these factors determine the rate of transpiration. Now, the plants do not exactly need this transpiration. It is a price paid for photosynthesis. The moment stomata open for photosynthesis, transpiration is carried out. So plants need to reduce this transpiration to some extent so that it doesn't lead to closure of stomata in case excess of water is lost during transpiration. So some plants have made certain adaptations, like some of them have got a sunken stomata. They may reduce the number of stomata, their leaves may become narrow, they may reduce their exposed surface by rolling their leaves, or their leaves may fall down, the stem becomes green, and in this case, they may even display that the leaves may change into spines. The stem then becomes green, or they may have a thick cuticle. All of these are adaptations to reduce transpiration. Now, they may have sunken stomata, as I mentioned earlier, in case of Nerium. Now, these are the stomata. So you can see four stomata bounded by four guard cells, pairs of guard cells, having epidermal hair, plus they are sunken. This is a mechanism to reduce transpiration. As you can see in these slides, there is a thick layer of cuticle, especially in plants like banyan, all to reduce the uh, transpiration rate. Or they may have multiple layers of epidermis. Again, multiple layers of epidermis means lesser amount of water will be reaching the cuticle layer to reduce transpiration. They may have sunken stomata, they may have epidermal hair, they may have a multiple layer of epidermis, all present together. All of these are mechanisms to reduce transpiration because the plants are not in favor of transpiration to an excessive degree. In xerophytes, that means the desert plants, the leaves are modified into spines. So their leaves are no longer performing the process of photosynthesis. So in them, the stem becomes green to perform the process of photosynthesis. Xerophytes grow in an atmospheric conditions where the humidity is extremely low, rainfall is very scanty, so they have to conserve water. So this is the best method for them to conserve water. There are certain plants which reduce the exposed surface area of leaves by rolling their leaves, like in case of hosta. So this is again a method to reduce transpiration. There are certain plants which have a very thick layer of cuticle. The leaf itself becomes very thick to store a lot of water. And this is found in case of jade plant. This is found in case of banyan, where a very thick cuticle is there. So all of these are methods by which they are reducing transpiration. Now, you might wonder in case of hydrophytes, that is aquatic plants, how do they develop their stomata or what kind of transpiration occurs in them? Now, in case of floating hydrophytes, with one part exposed to the atmosphere, stomata will only be present on the upper surface. They are not found on the lower surface. But in case of submerged hydrophytes, the stomata are found none of the surfaces. That means the plants lack any kind of stomata. They don't need the stomata. So, for example, hornwood, it's a submerged hydrophyte. It doesn't require any stomata. So they have developed some other methods of exchange and diffusion of gases, but definitely it doesn't require to lose water by transpiration. So transpiration, otherwise also they are in water. So they don't need to lose as much of water. They develop a thick layer of cuticle to keep themselves waterproof, but they have reduced the requirement of stomata. Now, this transpiration has a very great importance in a plant's life. It causes cooling effect in a plant. When the water evaporates, water has the highest specific heat capacity. So this water, when it evaporates, it takes a lot of heat from the plant, and in this return, it causes cooling effect to a plant. It cools a plant. It helps it to survive the hot summer months. It creates a suction force, an upward pull, which is called as the transpiration pull, which leads to rise of water to great heights in case of tall trees. It helps in distribution of water and mineral salts. When the xylem carries the water up, it carries the mineral salts. And because the leaves are continuously in need of water, this enables the ascent of sap rapidly, distributing water and mineral salts to various plant parts. It helps in development of mechanical tissue. Every year, xylem ring develops in a plant, and especially in case of trees, when you cut open their trunk, you're able to observe xylem rings. These rings develop better because of increased rate of transpiration. More is the transpiration, better is the development of the xylem ring. It increases the concentration of mineral salts due to evaporation of water. Now, every cell, when it is transpiring, the mineral content of that cell will keep on increasing. When this increases, this makes the cell hypertonic, and they can absorb water better from the surrounding cells or from the soil water. It helps in development of an extensive root system. As the leaves are transpiring water and creating a transpiration pool, the roots have to grow deep and wide to absorb water. This helps in the development of an extensive root system. It improves the quality of fruit by increasing the sugar content of fruits. When the water evaporates, when the transpiration occurs from fruit surfaces, it increases the concentration of sugar in their cells, thereby making the fruits sweeter. So we say when the summer season approaches, the fruits ripen. When they ripen, we are basically talking about the fruits becoming juicy, and they become juicy or they ripen because of increased rate of transpiration. So as I told you earlier, transpiration pool generates a huge amount of suction tree. So you can see how wide this tree is. This is the giant redwood tree found in California. One single tree can be so wide that 50 people can stand around in a circle holding hands. And it is a tree which grows to a huge height, and they are the tallest trees in the world. So even in these tall trees, the ascent of sap takes place and large amount of transpiration pool is created, which is one primary factor for the ascent of sap. So this ascent of sap is created, this upward pull is created because the leaves are transpiring water. So this creates a suction force or need for water, due to which more water will be absorbed from the cells, due to which the roots will absorb more water by osmosis. So in turn, it increases the extensive root system development. It helps in development of the xylem tissue. It helps in creation of a transpiration pool. It helps in ascent of sap. So as the roots are absorbing water, the rate of absorption of water will increase further when more water is transpired to the external environment. So all of this helps in generation of a transpiration pool and helps in ascent of sap. The transpiration, as I already told you, increases the sugar content of fruits. When the fruits will transpire water, more water, the sugar content in the fruits will increase, which leads to ripening of the fruits. Transpiration increases the mineral content in a cell. Now, when the transpiration rates are high, the mineral content in a cell will increase. The cell will become hypertonic. When this hypertonic cell is placed in a hypotonic solution, it becomes a normal, healthy, turgid cell. This is how all plant cells want. If on the other hand, it is, you've already studied, if they are placed in hypertonic solution, the cell will shrink. If they are placed in isotonic solution, the cell will become flaccid. For a healthy cell to survive, it needs to be placed in a solution where it can absorb water. So this difference of tonicity, that inside it is hypertonic, the vacuole is hypertonic, and outside it is hypertonic, so water will enter, making the cell turgid. This is only possible if the mineral content in a cell is increased, and this is increased by transpiration. Transpiration helps in generation of a transpiration pool, which will lead to ascent of sap. So transpiration has a very important role in the part of a plant life of a plant. It's one integral factor which enables the healthy development of plants and their growth. Now, transpiration affects the climate also. How does transpiration affect the climate? Every time a plant is transpiring, it is losing water vapor. For example, a single sunflower plant, when it loses water, it may lose roughly half liters of water. A maize plant may lose 2 liters of water, and an apple tree may lose about 30 liters of water. Now imagine if there is a huge forest cover, then all the trees are transpiring and they will bring rainfall. Why? That water vapor will go up in the higher strata of the atmosphere, lead to formation of clouds, and the clouds will bring rain. So this will have a moderating effect on the environment. If we need a healthy environment, we need green plants. The green plants will enable a better, a healthier environment, cooler temperatures, and overall increases the health of the environment. So green plants are the secret. Transpiration is the secret to increasing the rain content, to increasing the humidity of the atmosphere. So that's all from this chapter. Thank you very much. I hope you have understood this now. So wish you all the best. Thank you. God bless you all.